Welcome to WETS Community Forum. I'm Jim Blaylock, and today my guest is Melvin Jones, who is a new author. His book is called Stay Tuned for the Next Episode. Melvin, thank you very much for coming to the station.
No, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And Melvin, I have become aware of your book. I've read some of it. I will admit I've not read the entire book. I want to also remind folks of the website for this book. It's www.staytunedbook.com, and that's where folks can go to find out a little bit about the inspiration for the story and also to actually order the book. I think folks will get more interested in buying the book. It's available in a number of ways. It's probably easiest to go through Amazon. I saw the book on Amazon. And again, Melvin Jones, the author, his book is called Stay Tuned for the Next Episode. Melvin, I'd like to start by asking, where did you get the idea to write this story?
From personal experiences. I'm from, people want to call me a northerner, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Went to school at what's now called UVA-Wise. It's called Clinch Valley College. And there were differences that I saw there. And from experiences from there, from home, and from experiences that I had interacting with other people, inspired me to write this book.
Mm-hmm. Well, I started reading this book, Melvin, and I thought that I could sum it up in the first few pages. I thought, okay, this is going to be a football book. This is going to be a book about a guy who's telling us about his love for football, and it went that way. And then you really floored me with some of the experiences that you had that you relate early in the book, and it sounded like they floored you too. You want to talk about some of that?
Well, look, I can say that growing up in Cleveland and coming down here, I did notice a little bit of separatist or segregational differences that I saw. Mm-hmm. And it was an eye-opening experience. Coming from Cleveland, you dealt with racism as well, but it was on a different and a more graphical and detailed level than I was experienced too. Mm-hmm. And it was surprising. You hear about it in the news, you read about it in books and news, but when you experience this, it's a totally different animal.
Yeah, it must be. And I thought you did a good job of writing about it. The early part in the book that I'm thinking of is when you're getting used to your new community. You had to go out with a bunch of guys on the team, of your new football team,
right? And
you're really excited about that. And it didn't occur to you that you were the only person of color on this trip, I think.
It was shocking to.
Yeah, you went into a little store to get some snacks, get some gas, and you encountered something. And I got to tell you, Melvin, I started thinking, what time period are we talking about? This sounded like the late 50s to me.
No, it's 80s and 90s. Matter of fact, it was 91 when I dealt with that. I was going to get checked out for my knee, and we went to go get something to eat. And that happened, and And somebody just put really blatant racist attitudes in your face. Exactly. And you said, like I said, you would think that it doesn't happen now, or it would progress. No, it still happens.
Yeah. So it was kind of a flag at the beginning of the book. Oh, this isn't going to be the kind of book I thought it was. He's going to tell us a lot of interesting experiences that came from going to a new area. And I also liked that not long after that experience, you relate an experience of being in the doctor's office, and you ran into an old man who was a fan of the team, and he encouraged you not to close yourself off, I remember.
A very open-minded man. Matter of fact, the way the spin was, going to school at Clinch Valley, they had what they call a mentoring service. And my mentor at the time he was a judge in that county. Well, he was the one who told me that keep an open mind, not to be closed-minded. He understood that there are people who are going to have to adapt and grow. I mean, because even as an older man as he was, being a judge, he saw the good and bad in people. He didn't look at it as color. He looked at it as face value. And he taught me how to adjust to my new environment.
Mm-hmm. Melvin Jones on WETS Community Forum, a new author. His book is called Stay Tuned for the Next Episode. He's talking about, basically, I think, your life story. Is the story of this book mostly factual from your life?
A majority of it's factual. I did do a little bit of embellishment and then piece and parts together from not only my experiences, but like I said, other experiences from people that I met and interacted with.
Yeah. I just thought it was such a great job of you helped me feel the slam of this experience by the way you wrote it. You're just going along minding your own business, enjoying life, and this guy puts this attitude in your face. And I thought, is this factual? Is this today? And I really started realizing, yes, it is. This guy is not talking about a long time ago. He's talking about a recent experience. And I thought that would make people want to read this book, especially people from around here, because you're talking about our region, basically, Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee, Wise, Virginia. People should read this book so that they can get out of their own experience and find out how other people live and experience life through someone else vicariously.
I don't disagree with that. It does make a subtle change to the mindset you had. When I came down here, I came down with a mindset of open mindset, but it was a surprise to be able to see what I saw, what I interacted with, and like I said, I brought out some subtle differences in the book, and not only did that mentor help me with that, but the love interest that I had in the book allowed me to adjust to that situation, and that's what I was thankful for.
Yeah. If I can just read a little bit of the synopsis of this book. Again, Melvin Jones on Community Forum. The book is called Stay Tuned for the Next Episode. He says, no matter how bad your life seemed and no matter how bad you had done in your life, as long as you have God in your life, He'll forgive you and He'll be there for you to give you a second chance, even possibly a second chance with your true love, which is what you were just talking about, Melvin. And down at the bottom, it says, finally, after losing everything, he's ready to give up until one day he gets in contact and reunites with his Southern belle, no longer trying to play football, and with all that has transpired in his life between their breakups, will they get back together? Will true love prevail, or has an opportunity for emotional and spiritual bliss passed him by? So you really leave us in a quandary there, kind of wanting to know how the book comes out. Now, I didn't get to this part at the end, but I see the warming up from the first part of the book I did read of your relationship with this Southern belle. You want to talk some about that?
It is based off a little bit of personal experience.
Okay.
I met a young lady down here at school. She was a student there. And,
a local?
She was from Abingdon, Virginia.
Okay. It's fairly local.
Fairly very local, yeah. Taught me how to adjust to life down here. Even like I said, subtle differences in religion. There's difference in religion between Southwest Virginia and, you want to say, Northeastern Ohio. I mean, North and South. Everybody believes in the same God. It's just the approach is different than what I was used to. It like I said, eye-opening experiences makes you really take a perspective and say, wow, I need to really focus and figure out what's going on before I start making snap judgments. And like I said, it opens your mind and lets you know that the world that you live in is not the only world that's out there.
Now, I take it the trajectory of the story is that you two get together and she helps you kind of understand small town life, Southern life, kind of helps make it more palatable for you maybe. And she's from, like you said, she's from Abingdon. But then there's a breakup, there's drama, and it says you end up going back home to Cleveland, still hanging on to a fleeting dream of playing football. And I guess years go by, and this is the middle. Your life goes through a series of downfalls, disappointments, empty relationships. And after all of this has gone wrong, you're ready to give up. And then, as I said, you get back with the Southern belle. And this is kind of the story that you tell in the book?
Yes, it is. I was on the first school's football team at Clinch Valley College. It was a new experience being able to play on the first team. I'll tell people there's nothing like being able to say you were on the first team. That was new to me. And when I went back home, because I thought that I'd be able to adjust to that, be able to say, okay, I experienced that, but I was ready to move on. And I realized that certain things that I was doing wasn't right. It wasn't the direction that I should have gone. And I thought that it was over. I had aspirations of playing in the NFL. I thought that I didn't be good enough. People would tell me I was good enough to do this, good enough to do that. And my vision was I wanted to be that person, that one of a million, because they tell you less than 2% of the population is going to play in the NFL. I thought I was going to be a part of that. Didn't happen. Took some wrong turns, listened to some wrong people, and it was a down period for me. So why would I think that something good was going to come about of what I was dealing with? So that's where the inspiration of that part of the book came.
There's a real inspiration behind this story where you had all this going, all this laid out at your feet, the possible NFL career, a new girlfriend, and then you kind of tell the story of the downward part in the middle, and now the uplifting part at the end where you get back with her. How did that happen?
I just happened to pick up the phone and call.
Enough of this? Is that what it was?
One day I just picked up the phone and decided to call because and matter of fact, you can thank my mother because she said that she got a card from her saying happy birthday. And I said, let me find out how she's doing. And I called, and it was like I heard her voice for the first time over again. And it was the same pleasant sound that I heard then at that point in time when I picked up the phone. And it was almost like you fell in love again.
Mm. And maybe we shouldn't talk too much more about it because we're kind of giving out the whole story of the book.
I'm trying to talk the way so that I don't give away the book and people wonder. I can't tell you in the present that is my present wife. She is my wife. And we've been married for 7 years.
I will say the book is a kind of book that folks could read to get out of their own experience. I'm not in the football world. I was in the music world. I can relate with what you said about I thought I'm going to be in the upper 2%. I thought I was going to be in the New York Philharmonic, and it didn't happen. The thing of quashed dreams, that's a difficult thing to get over. There's plenty in the book that will surprise people. Like I said, when I started reading it, I thought I could sum it up, but it turned out it's not the kind of book I thought it was at all. You really gave us a good narrative of your experience in a completely different environment coming down to what is now UVA-Wise. And, I bet they were really excited to have a great football team there.
They were, and it was so much energy there at the time that they started the football team. And I'll say I'm from the area where I'll take pride in this, that we feel like that because we have the Pro Football Hall of Fame, that we pretty much invented the sport. We take pride in the sport. But there's a lot of pride down in Southwest Virginia about their football, too. You have, I can think of a couple of themes. Matter of fact, Virginia High, you have Tennessee High, you have Science Hill. You also have a few teams in Southwest Virginia High School that go to the playoffs all the time. And like I said, they take a lot of pride in it. Mm-hmm. When we got there, like I said, it was new to them. We didn't have a home stadium. We didn't have the facilities they have right now. I'm kind of jealous of what they have right now. At the
school. They had to use, a high school facility?
We had our home games at the high schools. We went around to the local high schools to play our football games. Our first game was at then called J.J. Kelly High School. I don't know what it's called now, but J.J. Kelly High School was where our first game was. And we also won that first game, I want to say. And then we went to Gate City High School to play our games. There was a couple of places where we went to play. Mm-hmm. So we did not have a home stadium at that time. So
we're talking on Community Forum with Melvin Jones. His book is called Stay Tuned for the Next Episode, about his life, basically. A lot of turns, a lot of down, and a lot of up swings. Let me ask, what order did you write the book in, Melvin? Did you write it in the order that it's read?
Yes, I did. It's chronological. It's based off the fact that I was in Cleveland saying I need to get out of here. I needed to change the pace, a different perspective, because I just felt like I was just spinning my wheels. I thought, like I said, I thought I was going to be a part of that 2%, but coming out of high school, I had an unfortunate situation with the school I went to, so I came back home to work for a little bit, and I thought, I can still do this. I still have the drive. I still have physical God-given gifts to do this.
Did you work on some of the parts that would come later first, as far as working out the writing of the book?
I wrote it in the order that is in the book,
Okay.
but I went back from time to time and thought maybe I'll add this part in here where it did fit in
Yeah.
the timeline. Don't want to say sensationalize the book, but to catch the person who's reading this, to catch their eye, to make them, like you say, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, right. So maybe some of the elaborations came later.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. When the basic bare bones, it didn't take me that long to write the bare bones of the book, but I went back and added a couple of things. I had to think about, do I want to add this part into the book? Is it something that somebody can really tolerate when I tell them a part of what my experience was? Will they be able to understand that, or will I be able to convey it? Because my main focus was, when I was writing this book, was I wanted to paint a vivid picture, not for you just to read. I want you to experience what I experienced, what I saw, what I've talked to people about who have close contact with, saw.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, and make it an enjoyable read as well.
I think you did that to experience it after a while. The first few pages, I was reading it after I went through some of the experiences with you. That's how it felt. I wasn't reading anymore. I was living through you. So I got to say, Melvin Jones, I really admire that somebody can decide, I'm going to do this, and then they actually do it. This takes more than just a few days of saying, I'm committed to this idea. You have to be committed to this idea for months.
It is. It was months where I was writing. I had to come back to it, change some things. I didn't know how involved it was. I'm glad that I did do it. It just was surprising how it manifested itself. It really was. Like I said, when I first wrote it, like I said, the bare bones probably took up a quarter of what it is right now. But the more I added to it, the more I just started thinking, do I really want to put this in? And I'll say there's things in there that I thought that I should put in there that I omitted because I didn't think it was worthy for the reader to experience. I didn't want to just, pretty much what I said, blow people's minds on it. But
Yeah, you wanted it to be palatable so that they will get through it with you.
get through it, experience it, understand it. And my big thing, I want people to enjoy what I write. I want you to be able to say, I want to be able to read this book and I want to read it again, or I want to read something else that Melvin Jones has written.
I liked that you put entertaining things in there that didn't necessarily advance the story, but were funny to read. You did put some things in there that were funny to read. And honesty. There's a lot of honesty in the book. Again, on Community Forum, we're talking about Melvin Jones' book. Stay tuned for the next episode. An interesting life story, basically, a factual story that Melvin tells about being a college football player and having his life go up and down. And now here at the end, you're having a chapter in your life now that I'm sure will make a book someday, and that is dealing with your son who's having trouble, been in the hospital a lot, and you and your wife here in this, I guess, second chapter of your relationship are really being tested now.
Oh, he's going through a kidney transplant. 5 years old. Strong person.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Marshall was born with the kidney defect. Like I say, he's my inspiration. He's my strength as well as everybody else's, because as much as he's gone through and is still going through, it's amazing how he perseveres. How I say every day that he really inspires me to keep on going.
You dedicated this book to him. And before we started this interview, you've told me a lot about your son and all that he's been through, starting at, I guess, at the beginning, really.
Right.
So his whole life, this 5-year period, has been maybe more of a trial on his parents, because he can't remember the first few years of it, but you've had to live through all of it.
We've had to live through the long-distance driving. We've had to live through the numerous medicines, the numerous times where we had to take him to the hospital.
Hospitals way outside our area,
At
a
least-
lot of different ones.
At least 2.5 to 4 hours away,
Yeah.
where we had to, like I said, we put a lot of miles on our vehicles. I used to tell people the running joke that I had to drive 5 hours and a time zone away for my son to get proper treatment, because we had to go to Vanderbilt
That
University.
doesn't seem right.
It's amazing that you live in an area the closest proper medical care is hours away, but it's something that my wife are willing to do for our son and for our kids in general.
And in the middle of this, and the crisis is still ongoing, you are out promoting your book, thinking about making this thing work, letting people know your life story. It's really an inspiration, Melvin.
Thank you.
And because I know this, you've done several interviews. You've been in several locations. I looked you up on the internet. You've been on television, and some of them have not given you as much time as we have to really talk about this book. So I really hope that people will check out Melvin's book. Stay tuned for the next episode about a Northeastern person coming down into our area and finding out what life was like here as a person of color, and the differences and the similarities both are included in this book, Melvin. So thank you very much for coming on Community Forum.
Again, thank you for having me.